Hey friends, welcome to the video. Hope you're having a good day. And in this video, I'm going to talk about you don't necessarily feel anxious. You don't feel stressed right now. In fact, maybe your life is going pretty good, but you still have DPDR symptoms. Why is this? What is going on? And what can you do about it? And for all of those that are new to the channel, welcome. And for all my subscribers, welcome back. My name is Dan, and I help people overcome their anxious thinking, to get rid of their DPDR symptoms, to move on to recovery and live the life that you want to live. So you might be thinking, okay, I've had DPDR for quite a while now, and right now I don't actually feel particularly stressed. In fact, I had a pretty good day and I feel really, really good, but the symptoms are still there. In fact, you know what? I've actually had a week of having good days and I'm happy and I'm actually sort of loving life, but the symptoms are still there. And it's sort of like in the back of your mind. Maybe you're thinking, are these symptoms actually going to be with me forever? And hey, I'm not actually worried right now. So why are the symptoms still there? Or I'm not stressed right now. Why am I still experiencing this stuff? And that is a very, very valid question. The reason that you are still experiencing this stuff is because your body and your nervous system and your mind basically hasn't reset back down to normal. You're still at boiling point, so to speak. And what I want you to think is of an analogy like this. So this DPDR that you're experiencing right now is being caused by anxiety or stress, and it didn't just happen overnight. Even if you did go to bed normal and wake up and all of a sudden this thing was on you and you felt weird and you felt all the symptoms or whatever it is that you felt, it still didn't happen over time. It's a buildup. And I bet if you think back to what was happening weeks or months or even years leading up to you waking up feeling really weird, then you might find that perhaps you were under a considerable amount of stress, or perhaps you did have anxiety and it was slowly building up over time, but you just ignored it, or you just thought it would go away, or whatever it is. Even if you took drugs, even if you were driving at night, or you just woke up and something bad happened, or you got drunk, or whatever it was, whatever the reason that you think, just sort of automatically flipped you into this, that is just the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm here to tell you that it was building up to a long time before this, and that thing just happened to be the event which sort of tipped you over the edge. And it's very important to understand this, because this will bring some insight into why you're maybe feeling really good right now, but you still have the symptoms. So just as it takes a long time for it to build up, it can also take a long time for it to come down, for you to reset. It might not take a long time, but it might take a long time. Think of it like this, right? That you are like a kettle, okay? A kettle full of water, and then you turn the power switch on, and that is equivalent to you starting to feel stressed or starting to feel anxious. And slowly over time, then you're just going to get hotter and more energetic and more frantic and more chaotic, until in the end, you're boiling just like a kettle might boil. Obviously, a kettle would take 2 or 3 minutes, and for you, it might be 2 or 3 years, or it might be 2 or 3 months, or whatever it is. But the point is that your nervous system and your mind has been under prolonged stress, and this is never a good thing for people. Obviously, stress is a part of life, and there would have been a time where you have been under stress and this didn't happen. But the human body and the mind is not designed to deal with prolonged stress. So now your mind is protecting itself, and ergo, you're feeling all the symptoms. So going back to the kettle analogy, even if your life is going great and you've turned the power off and you've taken the kettle off the stove, or whatever it is that you've done, the water's still freaking hot, right? Like, this steam is still pouring out. And if you've got one of those cool whistle kettles, the whistle is still going, even if you've taken it off the heat. So even if you are having an amazing day and you're waking up and you're loving life, or whatever it is, you're still sensitized. Your nervous system is still heightened. So your nervous system has been down here. This is where everybody's is base level, and stuff like having to wake up early or stress at work or whatever it is. That type of stuff is not really going to affect you. But if your stress levels get higher over time, you get more anxious, more stress, more anxious, more stress, and more anxious. Then there's just a tiny, all of this stuff which fit in this range, which never bothered you before, because your stress levels are now right up here. It bothers you. And that's why you're experiencing the symptoms. And even if you are having a really great day, it doesn't matter because you're still up here. It took a long time for you to build up to get here. Now you got to slowly bring it back down again. So you can't just expect that 2 years of prolonged stress or prolonged anxiety or worry or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, actually life is pretty good. And then you're like, your body just goes boom. Oh yeah, everything's great. Everything's just completely sorted, back to equilibrium, back to normal. It doesn't work like that. Change happens over time in the body, whether that's recovering from DPDR, or it's changing your habits, or changing your thoughts, or learning something new, or whatever it is. It takes time. And so the great news about this is that that is really good if you are sort of just enjoying life and just getting on with it, because that means that your brain isn't on high alert anymore, really. It's just slowly calming down. Like you've been with a flashlight in the dark in a forest or whatever, looking around, and you've kind of come to the conclusion, oh, actually everything's okay. So you turn around and you start walking out of the forest, out of danger. And you're kind of walking and everything's cool, but then you might hear like a twig snap or something, and you quickly turn around and then you check it again. And then you're like, oh, it's just an animal or whatever. And then you sort of keep walking. And then there's a breeze and it makes the leaves rustle or whatever. And you're sort of like, oh, yeah, okay, all right, it's okay. It's just the breeze. And, you can see where the forest ends and the light at the end of the tunnel. And so even though you've come to the conclusion that everything is okay, your mind instinctively is still sort of going on that high alert thing. And that's why you can feel really good, but still be experiencing the symptoms. But slowly, over time, with practice and by working on it and actually making a concerted effort to change your thinking patterns and all the other really cool stuff that you've got to do to get out of this, eventually you're going to get back down, you're going to get back down, you're going to get back down. And in the end, you're just going to be like, oh, okay, I'm literally just back to normal. Maybe I'm making it sound a little bit simpler than what it is, because obviously there are things in life that do make you stressed and do make you anxious. So it could be a case of 2 steps forward and 1 step back, or 1 step forward and 10 steps back, or 20 steps forward and half a step back, or whatever it is. But eventually you're going to keep taking those steps, and the more steps you take, the easier it is, and the less you're worrying about what's going on behind you. And before you know it, you've gone a couple of weeks and you haven't experienced any symptoms whatsoever. And essentially you're just like, oh, okay, cool. I guess I'm just recovered then. My friends, I hope you found this video useful. And if you do have any questions about anything I've spoken about, then please leave a comment. And if you do want one-on-one coaching with me, that's what I do to help people through their DPDR to recover, then please book a free discovery call and let's have a little bit of a chat about what's going on with you. And until next time, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.